Good morning. Here we go. I'd like to call the meeting of the Wayne County Commission to order. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
The board is now open for roll call. Commissioners Clemente and Marecki have requested an excuse. You have a quorum present.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible. Next item, please.
Invocation.
Today we have our invocation by Commissioner Ray Basham. Commissioner Basham.
Good morning. I'll be laconic. Can you bow with me, please? Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for my colleagues that will do the people's work and deal with issues affecting the largest county in the state of Michigan. And thank you for having a diverse commission. We have different faiths, but we all believe in one God. And thank you very much. Thank you for the camaraderie, the hard work of the staff people that work here. And thank you for the people that we represent. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Reverend Basham, Commissioner, we appreciate that prayer this morning. Thank you so much, sir. Next item.
Reading, correcting, and approval of the journal.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Baydoun.
Support.
Moved and supported. Are there any corrections to the journal? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Report from the chair.
Nothing today. Next item.
We're moving to unfinished business. There is none listed. We're moving to offering of all petitions, ordinances, resolutions, and presentations. There is one resolution listed, a resolution by Commissioner Basham and co-sponsored by Commissioners Anderson, Baydoun, Bell, Clark, Coleman, Clemente, Daub, Hattis, Killeen, Kenlock, Kniezek, Marecki, Baker, McCormick, Palomero, and Scott, imploring the state lawmakers to repeal Public Act 256 of 2011, known as the Michigan Fireworks Safety Act.
Okay, based on our conversation at the last meeting, we drafted this resolution and just coincidentally, we did the same back, I think it was 2011, if I'm not mistaken. But this is just another one that we'll send to our Lansing delegation, letting them know how we feel about this particular law and anything that they can do to help repeal it. Is there a motion? Commissioner Basham moves it. Supported by Commissioner Baydoun. Commissioner Basham.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Actually, I was talking to Senator Paul Bueno this morning. He introduced a bill that hasn't been approved yet, but his doesn't quite go far enough. I think ours gives local law enforcement a little bit more tools in their pocket to do the people's work. This is a big issue. And if you're a sometimes veteran, pet owner, or just plain old senior that don't want to hear explosions. And fireworks is one thing, but when you hear explosions and there's no enforcement over, it's illegal. It's a federal law to go against over 60 cherry bombs or 80 millimeters and stuff. And the locals feel like their hands are tied. And I've talked to local police departments. And so this is something that needs to have a serious discussion with everybody at the table. And also there's, we talk about trafficking and drugs and how that's bad, fentanyl and so on and so forth. But illegal fireworks, explosive devices that's not being checked by the locals when they put these tents up all over the place from June to August or whatever, and then they disappear until the next year. And somebody has to do some enforcement. And when organizations and government comes together, whether that's local, but it has to be local, county, state, and federal, so that we can actually make the environment safer for everyone. So this heads us in the right direction. I want to thank my colleagues for supporting this, sort of, I think unanimously, but I'll leave it alone. But anyway, I want to thank the folks that actually have spent some time on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And as you see, all commissioners' names are on it, as you stated, because this is the issue that all of us feel very strongly about. Commissioner Vice Chair Baydoun, did you have a comment?
Yes, quickly. Thank you, Commissioner Basham, for bringing this to us, and all of us are going to support this. Yeah, it's time to put an end to this madness. Now it's becoming a threat to public safety when you have people throwing fireworks at oncoming traffic on a busy Ford Road in Dearborn. This is unacceptable, and people need to enjoy their backyards in peace and an evening without. Here we are in the middle of July, and the fireworks are still going, I know, in different neighborhoods. So thank you, Commissioner Basham, again, to all of my colleagues for unanimously supporting this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on this item? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries.
Thank you so much. Next item, please.
We're moving to reports from committees. Report A is from the Committee on Public Services. There are 16 items listed on pages 2 through 6 of the agenda.
Vice Chair Palomero.
Thank you, Madam. Thank you, Madam Chair. I would move to receive and file items 1 through 4, and then I would move for approval items 5 through 16 with the following makers of the motion on the numbers listed. Item number 6, Commissioner Daub. Item number 7, Commissioner Jesus. Items 8 and 16, Commissioner Baydoun. Items 9 and 11, Commissioner Baker McCormick. And item 12, Commissioner Anderson.
Been moved. Is there support? Supported by Vice Chair Pro Tem Baydoun. Any discussion on the items on the Public Services Report? Any discussion on the Public Services Report? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries. I have Commissioner Daub as the maker of the motion on 6, Commissioner Hattis 7, Commissioner Baydoun 8, 10, and 16, Commissioner Baker McCormick 9 and 11, and Commissioner Anderson number 12.
Thank you. Next item, please.
We're moving to report B from the Committee on Ways and Means. There are 17 items listed on pages 6 through 9 of the agenda.
Commissioner Kinlock.
Madam Chair, I move approval of items 1 through 17.
Support.
Moved and supported the items on the Ways and Means Committee, items 1 through 17. Any discussion on those items? Commissioner Anderson.
Madam Chair, actually, this is on the previous one that we just approved.
Okay.
I was trying to get it recognized before we got into this one, but just wanted to ask if there's anyone that could speak to number 12 on the report of the cops.
Public Services. Okay. Tony?
Oh, number 12.
Number
That's a road project.
12 on Public Services, Tony. We went back.
Good morning.
Tony. Tony.
Tony Guerrero, Chief of Legislation, Grants and Community Relations,
Tony.
the Prosecutor's Office.
Tony. We were going back to Public Services,
Sorry, back
not
to
the
services.
not the Public Safety. Thank you, sir. Public Services, item number 12.
But I was worried for a moment that Tony moved to DPS.
I know. Number 12 is Michigan Department of Transportation, $2 million road improvements along Wayne Road from Joy to Plymouth. Does anyone can speak to that? Okay. Your question, Commissioner?
My question is, why are we expecting this would go till 28, the authorization for this? We're talking 4 years and it's going to start, I believe, this year. And it's about a mile or a mile and a half at the most.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Alan Coe. I'm the Assistant Division Director of Engineering. Actually, thank you for that question. The expected completion date for this project is 2023. As soon as we approve, as soon as the contract has been approved by this commission, we will start the project.
Again, why is it 2028 as a completion date?
Actually, the completion date for this project is 2023.
So it's going to be done this year and it'll be complete.
Yes, yes.
Is that a chip and seal type of a project, or is it complete replacement of the road?
It's going to be complete resurfacing.
I know you and I have had a number of conversations about the issues of what's the construction projects, several ongoing projects that are on Wayne Road disrupting traffic to no end. And the complaints that we've been getting have just been off the chart, that people have complained about it. And I know the bridge replacement is coming this year, supposed to start as soon as Merriman Road is opened up. Those bridges are complete. And then there'll be the bridge replacement of the Wayne Road Bridge. And these are, and we've got another project going on south of Cherry Hill that is narrowing the traffic down to one lane in each direction. This is a major thoroughfare through the city of Wayne, Westland, and into Livonia. And the amount of disruption on that, rather than getting the projects done quicker. Now Wayne Road, the portion that's currently shut down to only one lane southbound, causing a big traffic jam every afternoon, appears to be winding up. But then people are not aware, there's no communication with the locals to tell them that the bridge is now going to be pulled out. And that's probably going to mean a disruption of another 8 months or more for that. And I'm just wondering why we're giving such long timelines for them to do projects that should take less than a year.
So actually, this project is going to be completed in 2023. Regarding the information given to the public, we have implemented a policy, or not a policy, but we try to communicate with the communities every week. We have separated the communities within Inkster, west of Inkster and east of Inkster Road. And every week we are communicating with the mayors, everybody who wants to participate in the discussion. They were invited. So
I would suggest that the department come up with someone to go talk to the folks at the council meeting. Many more people will know about what's happening if that were to happen, because it would be something that it's pretty widely, the coverage is very good. And just judging by the number of calls that we've been getting in my office over these projects on Wayne Road, it's been the worst I've ever experienced, the worst.
okay, thank you for the suggestions, but we're gonna do that. So we'll notify you. So
Appreciate
okay,
better communication with my office too. Thank you, though.
Thank you. Now,
Thank you.
just as FYI, sir, the transmittal, can people not hear me today? Sir? The transmittal that was submitted does say 2028. So if that should be 2023, we would note it on our resolution. So it should be 2023.
Based on my schedule that I have here, it's 2023, but I can confirm that, and we'll let you know.
Let us know about before the end of the meeting.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Baker McCormick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Can I get a list of all of the projects? I know at some point I requested just by district. Can you get that to me?
Yes, we'll do that. So all the projects within your district, or all the projects within Wayne County?
Within just my district.
Okay.
Thank you.
Will do. In addition to that, I just want to let you know we have this web map in our website, and all the communities, all the district, if you want to see what projects we have in your particular district, you can find it in that web map.
So I would like to clear as to what's currently.
Yes,
But also up and coming projects.
yeah, the construction projects within our web map is for 2023, but we can provide you with the future projects too.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Anderson?
I did want to mention that, that very thing. I appreciate you mentioning it. It is an interactive map. I took a look at it. I didn't receive notification of that, that I can recall having seen anything coming into my office about this being available to people to look at. If there's some way that the department could let our individual commissioners know, then they could also help publicize that with folks wanting to know what the projects are, when their proposed end dates are. I think that would go a long way to help spread the word. If you could get us something that we could be able to put that on Facebook, on our Facebook pages or any other communication so people could use it. I already checked it out, but I found it in an inordinate way. I mean, not directly. I found it, somebody else that had been provided it like an e-newsletter in Livonia. And it's very helpful. And I appreciate that the department's doing that. And, but if you could let us know so we could help spread the word.
We're going to do that. Thank
you.
you for the suggestions.
Thank you.
One more thing, Commissioner Baker McCormick?
Can you just send the link to the map? That would, that would be
Yeah,
helpful.
we're going to do that.
Thank you.
Eddie?
Good morning, Eddie Fakori, Assistant County Exec. Just to the point of the dashboard that you're referring to. So this was in development and it was a suggestion from the start of the year from Chair Bell and Commissioner Baydoun, and Andy Kendrivis and his team took on refining an existing portal that was online and improving it with our DOIT team. So communication did go out earlier this year to say that it's been completed. Andy and his team have been promoting it at all community sessions. So we will resend that information so that everyone has it again. But it is an interactive system. You'll see what projects are going on currently. And as far as any other detail, Commissioner McCormick, we'll work with the department to make sure that they give that response. Alan, in his role, isn't always involved in a lot of the aspects with our office, so we'll make sure that we'll communicate with Alan and after today, get that information.
Thank you so much. One more question for you, sir, about the this item. Did it start April 28th or is it starting upon commission approval?
As soon as the commissions approve it, the contract will be sent to MDOT. So
On commission
then,
approval?
as soon as they receive it, we're going to start the project.
Okay, does that satisfy Madam Clerk, Madam Council? I think we're good.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, those were questions on the previous item. I think we're all set. We approved them already. So we're going to go back to Ways and Means. Apologies to Commissioner Kenlock. Commissioner Kenlock, let's start all over. Ways and Means.
Yes, Madam Chair, move approval of items 1 through 17.
Moved and supported for the Committee on Ways and Means report. Any discussion on the items 1 through 17 on Ways and Means? Any discussion on the Ways and Means items? Hearing none, please vote.
Carries.
Next item.
We're moving to report C from the Committee on Health and Human Services. There are 4 items listed on pages 9 and 10 of the agenda.
Commissioner Baker McCormick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Move to receive and file item number 1 and move approval 2 through 4.
Moved by Baker McCormick, supported by Baydoun. Any questions on Health and Human Services report? Any questions on the 4 items under Health and Human Services? Hearing none, I'm sorry. Oh, please, Commissioner Kniezek. Y'all set, sir? Okay. Questions? Comments? Health Human Services. Please vote.
Carries.
Thank you. Next item, please.
We're moving to page 10 of the agenda, Report D from the Committee on Public Safety, Judiciary, and Homeland Security. There are 4 items listed.
Commissioner Clark Coleman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move that we receive and file item number 1 and 2, 3, and 4, move approval.
Moved by Commissioner Clark Coleman, supported by Commissioner Scott. Any questions on the public safety report? Any questions on 1 through 4, public safety? Please vote.
Motion carries.
Paul, are you here?
Morning again. I got so excited, I thought I was going to have an easy question from Commissioner Anderson. But I bring you regrets, Mr. Bruno was not able to be here this morning. However, he is quite anxious to continue to serve and asked me to find out today when the next meeting is so he can make sure that he's there.
Ebony here? Ebony knows the schedule.
Good morning. Through the chair, Ebony McCann, Department of Health, Human Veteran Services, Adult Community Corrections Administrator. The next Community Corrections Advisory Board meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, July 26th at 2 p.m., but communication will be submitted to Mr. Bruno.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Madam
both.
Chair.
Thank you both. Thank you so much. Okay, we have the item moved and supported. Any further discussion? Did we already vote? Did we vote? Item passes. Next item.
We're on Report E from the Committee on Government Operations. There are 7 items listed on pages 11 and 12 of the agenda.
Adopt.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to move to receive and file items 1, 2, 3, and 6, and then move for approval items 4 and 5 and 7.
It's been moved by Commissioner Dobbs, supported by Commissioner Haydos. Discussion, Commissioner Kinlock.
Is there anyone here who can answer the question as it relates to the item number 4, dealing with the Comcast cable contract? Madam Chair, my question is, it was brought to my attention as it relates to the service being provided by Comcast. I think it was last year when we particularly on the 7th floor did not have cable on that floor, that we needed upgrades to the hardware. We were told that the county was responsible for payment of that, the hardware, as well as some customer service questions as far as concerns as it relates to how quickly they respond to issues. So was that brought up as it relates to the county being responsible for paying for line upgrades and some of the other things that I thought was kind of interesting? Or are we benefiting from any cost savings, discounts, or what's the benefit of that if it still exists in a contract?
Ryan Hayes, Division Director of Enterprise IT, Enterprise Computing and Infrastructure. This particular contract is for our WAN services and internet. It's not for our cable TV service. So that's a separate entity within inside of Comcast.
Within this contract, is there equipment or is there any technology associated with this contract?
Yes, there's routers and things that Comcast will place in buildings.
Do we have to pay for those? are we responsible for, the cost associated with any type of future upgrades associated with the equipment for them to basically do business in this building?
No, we plug Wayne County equipment into their equipment.
Okay, I'm just saying,
They're
I'm just asking because the cable piece, I'm apt, as you can see, I'm interested in that particular part of us having to pay for the upgrades of future upgrades of their equipment. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Basham? Okay, thank
Oh, I'm
you.
sorry, Madam Chair.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I put that down. I thought we were getting ready to vote. I'll be a no on 5.
Oh, okay, duly noted. No on 5, okay. Any other questions or discussion on the government operations report? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries. And have Commissioner Basham as a no on item number 5.
Clerk? Let's go to the addenda for new business.
We are moving to the addenda. There are 2 items listed under new business. Item number 1 is requesting commission approval of amendment number 1 to a comparable source professional services contract with a 2-year option to renew between the Charter County of Wayne and Gladiator School of Motivation and Training, not to exceed $96,000 to continue providing mentoring services for the juvenile detention facility.
Okay, who is here to speak to this item? Title and explanation.
Good morning. Good morning, Madam Chair. Melissa Fernandez, Director of Juvenile and Youth Services. This is our request to amend our contract with the Gladiator School. It is a motivational and mentorship program that we have at the juvenile detention facility. Our count today is 157 and rising. Because we were able to expand the footprint of the JDF, our kids at 157 are out all day in regular programming. So we are able to have 20 young people on a pod. What has helped is having Gladiator there providing the mentorship program, motivational program, and serving as a pseudo parent for children who do not have parents. They've been with us for 3 months and we're requesting to continue that so that we can provide additional services. Since the kids are out on the pods all day, they will be providing services from 8 in the morning to 8 p.m. With us in the facility.
How many people are employed by Gladiator that are in the?
If I can ask Mr. Troy Muhammad, he's the CEO, but I believe right now we have 21 cleared as mentors at the JDF.
Everyone, yes, 21 cleared, definitely. But we have the ability, we've been given the ability to reach out to different members of the community, in particular NBA players, NFL players, people like that who can come in and offer additional mentoring.
Can you give some examples of the work that you do with the young people?
Well, some of the examples is definitely mentoring, conflict resolution, being able to be present to hear problems and help with any difficulties that young men and young women are going through. One of the major things is the conflict resolution, but also because we're getting new staff at the facility. Many in here have a history in law enforcement. So it was at a certain point dangerous for both the juveniles and the staff. So additional men and women in the facility helps balance that out as well.
And I'm happy that you said for the young ladies as well. So you have mentors for the young women.
Yes, we have women, a female component that just deals with the young ladies.
Right. Thank you so much. Questions, Commissioner Basham?
We've been together a long time.
Thank you.
Thank
It
you.
was shorter, but shorter.
Commissioner Dobb?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I went through this earlier, but I'm trying to find it now, but do we get any funding from the state for this program?
So this is Child Care Fund eligible and it is a 50-50 match.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any additional questions on this item? Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Baker McCormick, supported by Commissioner Clark Coleman. One more time for questions. Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries.
Thank you so much. Next item.
Item number 2 is requesting commission approval of amendment number 1 to a 3-month contract with 2 one-year options to renew between the Charter County of Wayne and Shelving Rack Systems not to exceed $155,916.69, exercising the first option to renew and extending the contract by 1 year for pallet storage racks and installation services at the Vigliotti Building.
Through the chair, this is Aaron Wagner, Chief Administrative Officer.
Good morning to the chair, Gregory Hurst, Director of Facilities Management and Planning.
Explain this item, please.
Yes, so the first piece of this item is to exercise the option here to extend the time for the pallet racks at HQ. As part of the CJC operation, we're rehabbing part of the HQ to carry the dry goods that are used for the operations at the CJC. The time frame on getting those pallets installed, or at least the first piece of this contract has expired, so we do need to extend the time. In addition to that, we've been working with the clerk's office to relocate the inactive records that have been stored at the CJC. And as part of this process, we've identified space within the Vigliotti building that we can move those records to. And so in coordination with the clerk's office, we are also going to be installing additional shelving to accommodate not only the HQ records, but also the inactive records that are in the Rock buildings currently. And so that would be the old juvenile detention facility, Frank Murphy Hall of Justice, Division I, Division II jails. So records from clerks, prosecutor's office, the courts, JDF, and the sheriff's office would all of their inactive records would be going into the Vigliotti building for permanent storage until they're ready for destruction.
All right, thank you. And what commissioners have on their desk is a contract for the lease for the Vigliotti building, because we discovered that the lease had expired, and this is the new lease retroactive to, I think, July 1st. So we're cleaning up that. It has not gone to committee yet because it was just entered into, signed yesterday. So the lease piece will be going to committee, but this is the piece for the shelving and the racks. Commissioner Anderson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm just wondering, it looks like we're going to be extending the contract by this action and with Vigliotti. And I thought the discussions that we had years ago that we were going to reduce the amount of storage of files at the Vigliotti building, and with the goal of eventually ending it entirely and have everything digitized. And are we making any progress on digitizing any of those records? It appears as though we're not adding to the problem, except for what you just mentioned about JDF files and sheriff's files and those from HQ. So I'm just trying to understand how we're ever going to get to our goal. If there's really a plan to digitize all those records, because I understand, isn't there records there from already from the clerk's office, as well as the prosecutor's office, I think has files there. Tony, okay. Are we digitizing any of those right now currently to get down to zero eventually?
Through the chair, Commissioner Anderson, we are working, the sheriff's office is working to digitize right now. The prosecutor's office is working to digitize, but they're focusing on active records that they will need in the CJC. So it's a phased approach at this point. Any and all records that go to the Vigliotti building are deemed inactive. And that means that there may be a court date in the future that we need to pull these records upon, but they're not for active files. And so the CJC, as it was built, was designed to only house what was active. And so once we get past the move on the CJC, we're going to work to go through and make sure that there aren't records that are beyond their life expectancy. So the first piece will be to go through with the various departments across the county to destroy those records and then reduce the footprint from that piece, because there are a number of records that the clerk has identified that, yes, we are able to go ahead and destroy. And then the second piece is a longer term strategy that would be done in coordination with the clerk's office, but also with buildings and the planning administration to, as part of the mantle that Mr. Hurst is working on, is to really look at the county's inventory of properties and really make a determination and a strategy to bring to this commission.
I know that part of that is the committee that the chair has set up and that Commissioner Basham chairs. But I'm just wondering, are we adding, besides the ones we're moving over there right now, the inactive files, as you've said, we're not adding to the problem, correct? Beyond that, as far as cases are happening in the prosecutor's office, things that are active currently, they're being digitized. Is it like 100%?
So the records currently, prosecutor's office has a case management system, so their new records are digital. The courts also are working off of electronic files as a mandate through the state. The additional shelving, a majority of it, well, I wouldn't say majority, but that is to accommodate the records that we've been storing at HQ to move those off location, in addition to, these records that have been recently held by the departments that should have been moved over under the clerk's purview. Per statute, her office is responsible for these records that are inactive. And so, we're again, through Janelle Allen and myself, we are working closely with the clerk to coordinate all of these moves. And so it's, there'll be more to come. I know that there is a committee to talk about the records and the document destruction and digitizing and, the footprint of where there are certain records that we have to keep in perpetuity. And so bringing those recommendations to the commission, I think the first step will be those will come through that committee. But, at least for the CJC, this is one area that, because of the time sensitivity and us getting close to or closer to a turnover date, we do need to have these moved out of the existing facilities and to have a safe, secure location for these records.
All right. Thanks for the explanation. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any additional questions on this item? I have a motion by Commissioner Kinlock, supported by Commissioner Baidoon. Any questions? Hearing none, please vote. Thank you. It's not working?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, Commissioner Kinlock, okay. there you
Motion
go.
carries.
All right, thank you. Okay, we can go back to page 12, please.
We're returning to page 12 of the agenda, upcoming meetings.
Okay, please note the upcoming meetings, and we do have a Benefits and Staffing Task Force meeting today at 12:30. Please note the other meetings for next week. If there are any changes, please let the clerk know. Next item.
We are on page 13 of the agenda, testimonial resolutions and certificates of appreciation. There are 6 items listed on the agenda and 5 on the addenda.
Okay, is there a motion for the testimonials, resolutions, and certificates of appreciation? Moved by Commissioner Kinlock, supported by Commissioner Baidoon. Is there a discussion on any of the certificates and resolutions listed? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you. Next item.
We're moving to memoriams. There are 2 names listed on the agenda and 4 on the addenda.
Okay, Hello, all right. Listed on the agenda. Of course, we received the sad news last week that former Detroit Councilwoman Joanne Watson passed away. Those of us who knew her knew she was a fighter for the community, for civil rights, activist, strong policy. So she will be sorely missed. Her services are going to be this Saturday. So we want to keep her family lifted up in prayer. Then unfortunately, we have two members of our Wayne County family who've lost a parent. Janelle Allen lost her father, James Allen. And then just yesterday, Amika Steele, our drain commissioner, lost her father, Mr. Ernest Allen Sr. So we want to definitely keep Amika and Janelle lifted up in prayer during this difficult time and the loss of their fathers. Are there any discussion items on the memorials that are listed? Or any names to be added? Vice Chair Pro Tem Baydun.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I'd like to add one name. This past Monday on July 10th, I lost my second mother, my aunt, Haji Atufi Juma Shami, and she was loved by so many people here in the US and Lebanon. She passed away in Lebanon. And, you know, although my aunt did not have any children, I became the son that she never had. With her gentle guidance and unwavering love, she instilled in me the values that would mold me into the person I am today. She showered me with unconditional love, motherly affection, and sage advice that only a true, remarkable woman could offer. May she rest in eternal peace. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, and we are so sorry for your loss. We'll certainly keep you lifted up in prayer as well. Thank you. Any additional names? Okay, we could please all stand for a moment of silence. Thank you all so much. And again, please keep the families of everyone listed and those who are not listed, keep their families lifted up in prayer during this difficult time, the loss of their loved ones. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Public comments.
Is there anyone on Zoom who would like to give comments at this time? Anyone on Zoom? Unmute everyone. Anyone on the telephone for public comments? Anyone in the chambers who would like to give public comments, you can come to the podium. State your name and title and title again. Okay, hello.
I'm just gonna address the 28th. Okay, can I, do you want Sammy to address it? No, we're gonna address the chair. Okay. I was gonna discuss about the September 28th, but somebody's gonna address the commission later.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else in the chambers for public comments? Anyone in the chambers for public comments? Any emails?
Received one email. This is from Anthony Plessia. Dear Commissioners, the World Health Organization is still negotiating amendments to the international health regulations that are intended to cede control of national, state, and local pandemic measures to itself. For example, it changes the IHR regulations from non-binding to mandatory instructions that member states undertake to follow and implement. It also sets up surveillance processes in all states and enables the WHO to share country data without consent. Will you refuse to enforce this illegal power grab? The Biden administration wants to proclaim that they will supersede local and state laws, but the reality is these amendments violate our Constitution. For example, the aforementioned surveillance processes violate the Fourth Amendment. Alexander Hamilton, who was an advocate for a strong federal government, wrote in Federalist Number 33 that lower levels governments have the right to treat acts by the federal government that are not pursuant to the Constitution as acts of usurpation.
Is that the only public comment that you have?
Yes.
All right. Any reconsiderations? Eddie, is there a reconsideration? Or are we all set? On the Wayne Road, are we all set? Okay, thank you. All right. Any reconsiderations? There are none.
Remarks by members.
Remarks by members? Any remarks by members on today? Any remarks by members? Well, I have one little remark. We won't meet again until August. So on July 30th, Mr. Tim Colleen will be celebrating a big birthday, maybe? They're all big, I guess, huh? They're all big at this time. Well, happy birthday in advance. Enjoy cake and your family and friends for your big. Okay, well, and that too. So happy birthday in advance. You're welcome. Any remarks by members? Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to ask our representative here that's of the EDC department, if he could come up to the mic. I have a couple questions for you.
EDC? Mm-hmm. All right, well, we typically don't ask questions to staff during public considerations, but come on, Hassan, real quick. Is there real quick?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, this is, we're under remarks by members. You want to give some good remarks to Mr. Hassan? Go ahead.
I just had a question. Can you give us an update on when we're going to see the next round of ARPA grants? When we're going to be getting those?
Hassan Sheikh, Director of Economic Development. How's everybody doing this morning? We've started our internal process of having the discussions with the dollars now being general fund dollars as they've been reallocated in that aspect. We're figuring out our process, one, and then two, in terms of how we're going to move forward in different aspects. So we're planning on having a presentation brought forth to you in the near future, as well as bringing you an update from batch 1, batch 2 as well, in terms of where we're at from past batches, and then where we want to go with our future batch. So that should be coming up to you in the near future. But we have started those internal conversations. I can't give you a definitive timeline on that because we're still figuring out that timeline ourselves, but we are working as quickly as possible.
So our next meeting of the full commission is not going to be until August. That's what, 3 weeks or so. So I'm interested to know do you think it's going to be by August, or do we our first week, second
week?
Commissioner,
no. And first off, I appreciate your asking and being so vigilant on this, as are we. And we're working as quickly as possible to try to get as quick of a turnaround as possible. In 3 weeks, I can give you an update on where we're at in 3 weeks. Absolutely, I'm more than happy to do that.
Okay, thank you. One other question for you is at a previous meeting, I had asked for a report on steps being taken to address the delinquencies at the Guardian building on the leases.
We're working with our management company, Shannon Hagg. We're working with them on doing all that. As when you mentioned, we had already started that process, but we're working with them to work through all that and figure out where all the delinquencies are and how to address those. But we're working diligently with our management company on that as we speak.
Can we expect a update on that by next meeting?
Yeah, I feel that we can provide an update on that at our next meeting.
Okay, thank you. Thanks. That's all I have I do have another question.
Hold tight, because while he's here, Commissioner Baker McCormick wanted to ask a question while he's still standing.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to clarify, since you're here.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, I asked for an update on the workforce development contract and where we are, and anytime soon, you think?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So we were working through some certain items. We, on our next internal meeting, have a few decisions to make. And hopefully at our next meeting, we can provide you with an update and then provide you with an idea of where we're going to be moving forward as well. So. we are making progress.
Thank you, sir.
Lovely being in such demand.
All right. Commissioner Anderson, back to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just wanted to ask if there's someone from the administration could address. I received a letter, and I think probably every commissioner did, about the JDF, the young people that are in JDF, and at the new location, there's a number of complaints there. And is there anyone ready to address
Ms.
that?
Hernandez left, Commissioner, but I'll let Eddie give a brief remark, and then we'll make sure that if you can get in touch with Ms. Hernandez, and then she can give answers to specific questions for you.
Yeah, that
Go ahead.
through the chair, Eddie Fakori, Assistant County Exec Commissioner. Since they have already left, I just recommend that you pose those questions to our office. We'll make sure Ms. Hernandez receives them and addresses them.
It's just, in general, is someone prepared to address and to the individual complaints that we received in that letter?
Surface those complaints in an email to our office. We'll make sure that they get addressed. Thank you.
I don't believe I received that.
You didn't receive it? I thought it went to everyone the way it appeared, but maybe it didn't. But I'll
Forward it to me.
I'll forward it to you. Sure.
Thank you.
It's a hard copy. I'll just make copies of it for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any additional remarks by members? Additional remarks by members? Okay, next item, please.
Adjournment.
I'm sorry. Eddie, there was something that they wanted to add to Commissioner Anderson's Wayne Road issue
Correct.
really quick. Go ahead, Eddie.
And Eddie Fakori, Assistant County Exec through the chair. Under reconsiderations, there should have been a moment where we came back up, and apologies from the department on the confusion at that point. We do have answers for you. I was reaching out to find an individual who can be online, and Sammy Caldi, who's Director of Engineering, is online, can give some clarity to the item agenda that you had questions on as far as the projected dates. As submitted, they are correct, and he is online, Chairwoman, if to answer any of those
So
questions.
the question was, why was it going to 2028? And then the first gentleman said that it was going to end in 2023. Now someone's online to say specifically that it will be 2028.
Correct.
Okay, if you could go ahead online, Sammy.
Yes, good morning, Madam Chair, and good morning, everyone. Thanks for
Good morning.
the opportunity to explain this to you. I would like to say, yes, I was looking at the ones you were approved, the project were approved in April and May. We do 5 years contract. The actual work will be dictated by the progress schedule and progress clause. What we have seen in a lot of time when the projects are starting late, like around August or September, we see a lot of activities needs to be moved to the next year. And most of these activities, it could be just some landscaping, some we do in winter because of the cold weather, we do some temporary striping. The contractor has to come back in the next spring when the temperatures are allowed to be the permanent striping. And we want to make sure the sod or the seeding is taking. There's a lot of things we need to verify, that the project is completed to our satisfaction. And that takes more than just the project is going to open up to traffic in the fall or something like this. And additionally, in all these agreements, most of the time it says from the commissioner approval through the September 30th of 2028. So it doesn't have to go to 2028. The contract is really, I have not seen a contractor wants to go 5 years in a small job or a quick job. So, but this just gives us the flexibility to make sure we correct any deficiencies also without going through the process, putting the project on hold if the expiration date is going to be within a year and we need activities after 1 year. We don't have to come back to you and reinstate it, and it takes time. So also, we need to make sure the closing of the project, we follow MDOT procedure. It takes at least 180 days to close the project after everything is completed and accepted by the department. So that's why you see it takes 3 to 5 years. During the pandemic, we had an issue where the contractor could not start on time. So that the 5 years contract helped us a lot, to keep the contractor on board. That's one item. I would like to ask, just explain something about as far as how the county reaches out to the community. From day one, when we decide to start the project, the pre-design, we communicate with the community and all utilities and all the parties that being affected by the project. So any of these communities where they have a project, they are being involved in this project. As a matter of fact, we just had the FAC meeting. We were talking about projects in the community in 2026. This is how in advance we let them know what's going to happen in their community. So during the design process, we meet with the community all the time. And during the pre-con, we hold the pre-con. Also with the contractor, we ask the community to be on board. And before we start construction, we have our communication office in DBS and the CEO. We communicate with them and we send a press release to all of them. And we communicate with the contractor and the community during the construction. And this is a ongoing process, obviously. And I just want to also address this, the commissioners, that Wayne County Engineering has taken a proactive measure to reach out to the communities to keep them all on board what's going on every 2 weeks. So we created a concept dividing the county into two parts, Group A, Group B. Group A is any communities west of Inkster Road, and Group B, any communities east of Inkster Road. And we have been meeting with them. As a matter of fact, we had one yesterday with the Group B to let them know what projects are coming, what projects is our road division is coming. So we are in communication, constant communication with our communities.
Okay, thank you for that very great explanation. Any additional discussion, Commissioner, you can have with Sammy offline. And you'll connect with the phone number and everything. So we're at the end of the meeting.
Thank you,
Next
Chair.
item, Madam Clerk.
Adjournment.
Is there a motion to adjourn?